This course gives you the nuts and bolts of iPhone and iPad programming. In it, I introduce you to the SDK, Xcode, and Objective-C. The SDK gives you the opportunity to develop your apps without tying your brain in knots. Although the iOS SDK is free, you have to register as an Apple developer first. And don't forget, to run the SDK, you need an Intel-based Mac running Mac OS X Snow Leopard version 10.6.6 or a newer version. The iOS SDK offers tools for developing your iOS app. It includes frameworks, which provide fundamental code for building your iOS app, and offers the required application behavior, classes for windows and views, including those that display text and web content, and other things such as controls and view controllers. The iOS SDK also includes Xcode, which is Apple's complete integrated development environment, or IDE. Xcode integrates all of the SDK's features: its code editor, the interface builder, the build system, the graphical debugger, and project management. The iOS SDK also includes the iOS simulator. The simulator enables you to debug your app and do some other testing on your Mac by simulating the iPhone or iPad. The simulator runs most iPhone and iPad apps, but it doesn't support some hardware-dependent features. The simulator doesn't really emulate real-life or iPhone or iPad characteristics such as CPU speed or memory usage. If you want to understand how your app performs on the iPhone or iPad from a user's perspective, you have to run the app on an actual iPhone or iPad, and therefore you must join the iOS developer program in order to build your own apps to run on the iPhone or the iPad. You use Xcode to pick a template for the type of app you want to build. You then stir in the content, the behavior, and user interface, and you build it into your final product, which runs in the iOS simulator at first and eventually on a real iPhone, iPod Touch, or iPad. Objective-C is the programming language you use. In Objective-C, objects, and as you can see their corresponding classes, are the way a program is divided up. The best object-oriented programs have their objects work like a team, with everyone playing his or her role and doing his or her part, rather than submitting to the traditional hierarchical command and control structure, where someone is in charge and tells everyone else what to do. This course will not teach you Objective-C. That would take at least another 10 hours or more. But that doesn't mean you absolutely need to know Objective-C at this point in order to get started as an iOS developer and learn from this course. In fact, you can follow along and type in the Objective-C code that I provide without knowing anything about it, and then go and look up the words, symbols, and syntax that I use to get a feel for Objective-C. Ideally, you would be reading a good book about Objective-C while also taking this course. And in fact, if you want to get a handle on Objective-C as quickly and painlessly as possible, go get a copy of Objective-C for Dummies. However, before plunging into Objective-C and doing some coding, you need to know a bit more about application design, the design cycle, and what makes a good user interface. That's what this course will show you. You also need to know more, actually quite a bit more, about how the iOS technologies work behind the screen, such as frameworks, windows, views, and view controllers. Finally, you need to become acquainted with the details about getting your app ready for the App Store and the public. I go over all these details in this course.